Hi there everybody, it's Ryan here at the Trawf. We got up this morning early and we ended up over in our local farmer's market, and these beets were just screaming at me from the counter. So went ahead and picked up a couple of bunches, some red beets and then some of these orange beets. And we're going to show you how to make a recipe that my dad showed me for making quick refrigerator pickled beets. Perfect meal this time of year, goes great with lunches, salads, and here in Wisconsin it's a classic supper club side dish. So stay tuned, we'll show you how this comes together super quick. Welcome to the Trawf. Alright, so for ingredients for today, of course we got at the star attraction here are these beets. We've got these golden beets or orange looking beets. We've got some regular reds. You'll need about a pound of beets for 1 quart jar. You're gonna need some onion. You could use red onion if you like. I happen to have this sweet onion on hand, so we're gonna use that today. You're gonna need some granulated sugar, some salt, some whole cloves, and some bay leaves, in addition to some vinegar. So let's go ahead and start pulling this all together. All right, so to begin prepping this, we're gonna take our onion and we're gonna slice it nice and thin, just like we are here. Once you get that sliced up, just set it in a dish off to the side. We'll need that once we start putting them in the jar. Then we're going to take each of the beets, cut off the root end as well as the greens, and don't forget, hold on to the greens. There's probably something we can make with that here in the kitchen, so I'll reserve some of those for later. You don't need to worry about peeling the beets at this time. We're going to use some cold water to do that once they're boiled up. So we'll drop them into a pot of boiling water on the stove and we'll let them do their thing. Remember, always nice to keep the workspace tidy. So go ahead and clean up real quick. While the beets are starting to boil, we'll start preparing our brine. This is a simple white vinegar along with some sugar, salt, and whole cloves. And then finally we're going to add in a few bay leaves. Now we're just going to let this simmer for a few minutes to let those flavors infuse. And then we'll set that off to the side and wait for the beets to finish up. To check the beets, I just grab one of the larger ones out of the pan. I take a paring knife, and you want it to be able to pierce easily. You don't want it totally soft, but you don't want it firm either. So find that right texture just for you. And then we're going to dump those off in a colander and hit them with cold tap water. Hitting them in the cold water is going to help those skins separate and make peeling easy, as you're just about to see. As we finish up getting all those beets peeled, then we're going to bring them over to the cutting board. I mean, just look at how beautiful these things are. So now you have an opportunity to cut them into pieces. You could choose slices if you'd like, or you can cut them into random chunks. I couldn't decide today, so I just cut them up however I felt like. And so I've got some that are in rings and some that are in quarters and so on and so forth. Whatever size you like is totally fine. Now it's time to start filling the jar, and as you can see here, we're going to alternate between beets and onions. And we want to get this filled up as best we can and pack them in nice and tight. Right? We don't want anything to go to waste here, so don't be afraid to jam them in there, and we should have enough brine to cover them once we get them in there. So we want to strain out the bay leaves and the cloves, and so we'll just set those aside to discard. Alright, once that's all discarded, then I'm using a funnel here to get the brine down in between the beets and the onions. And you want to fill it up to about the shoulder. Once you get it filled up that far, go ahead and put the lid on the jar and tighten it up, and then just twist it, spin it, and invert it a few times to release any trapped air. Once that's done, remove the top, finish topping off the jar with remaining brine, and then you are all set. Let this cool on the counter for a couple of hours. Pop it in the refrigerator. If you can wait 3 days, the flavors will be dynamite, I promise. Thanks so much for watching. We hope to see you next time here at the Trawf.